Well, ladies and gentlemen, let me give you our guest speaker. She was on here on the 15th of the month. She did a phenomenal job. But let me tell you a little bit about our guest speaker if you never heard her before. But she's a traditional business owner. She's a mother. She's a wife. She's a volunteer in her community. She serves on the Chamber of Commerce. Board of directors, no doubt. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. She cares for her dad now. She's a regional vice president. Listen up. In 3.5 years. Wow. I'll say it again. 3.5 years. Folks, without further ado, from Northern California, give a warm welcome to Regional Vice President, Ms. Keri Roeder.
Thank you for welcoming me back on. I am so excited. I literally couldn't sleep last night. I woke up this morning. And for those of you who were on a couple weeks ago, warning, my voice is mostly back. I am drinking my second cup of coffee and I've already exercised. So you are in for it. This is the real Keri when I can talk and I have energy on all that. So sit back, relax, put your seatbelt on. You may or may not be in for a ride. Thank you, Marvita. I appreciate that. As you all know, Mr. Thomas is just the best of the best, and I absolutely love and adore and respect that man beyond measure. I have 100 stories as to why I love and respect him. All the regular accolades, speaks on trains in front of hundreds of people, 1,000 people, and, recognize and all those details. But beyond the ACN success and regular edification, just a man's man. And in the idea that he models for us how to be a loving father, how to be a loving significant other, how to be a good person, how to be a model in your community. And for just a mazillion reasons, I appreciate you, Mr. Thomas, and all that you do, not just for everybody on this call every day, but for people like me and all the other leaders in ACN. Genuinely love you and appreciate you and respect you beyond measure, as do the founders, you guys. So there's something to be said about that. So I'm really excited to be here this morning. I had asked Mr. Thomas if there was something specific he wanted me to talk about this morning, and he said, nope, whatever's in your heart. And I have this whole conversation to have with you today, and then God gave me an additional thing to share with you. So I will make sure that I do that. But this is going to be interactive. So hopefully everybody has their, if it's okay, Mr. Thomas, that if everybody has their chat open, and you might want pen and paper for what it is we're going to do today. And I will be done in the timely manner, I promise. See, Mr. Thomas has his pen and paper. Okay, so many of you have your cameras on. And for those of you who don't, I respectfully understand it. It's 9 o'clock California time, it's noon East Coast time, and you might be at work or otherwise occupied, but I know you're listening, you're gonna look at this later. But by show of hands, for those of us who have cameras on, how many of us are or feel extremely busy? By show of hands. Right? Yeah, most of us feel that way. Most of us are that way, right? So today's conversation is about how ACN is designed to be part-time, spare time around everything you have going on. So when I was invited to see ACN in May of 2010, actually April, that's a story for another time. If we ever wanted to talk about recruiting, I was recruited in April. It was awful. It took me 3 weeks to see it. The minute I saw the video, I was in. Okay, so I actually got started in May by the time I saw the video. But I was busy. I was working 7 days a week because it was the downturn in the economy. Our daughter was 5 in kindergarten. I was volunteering every day. So I was in the classroom every day. I was the room mom, so I threw all the parties. I was on the board of directors of the Chamber of Commerce. So I did all that volunteering. I chaired an ambassador team, which was 4 or 5 extra hours more. I did volunteering for the business community. I belonged to a community service club with my dad. Like, I was just super, super busy, and ACN had to be added on top of all that. So we're going to talk about balance today and everything that we have going on. So here's why I wanted you to have pen and paper. So I want you to write down on your pen and paper all of your responsibilities. And then when you can, I want you to put it in the chat for all of us to see. What are your responsibilities? So for example, do you work? Do you have a career? Do you have your own businesses? Do you have children that you're still caring for? Do you have a significant other, right? Because that's a responsibility when we have a significant other. Do you have household responsibilities or chores? Do you volunteer? Do you have older parents like I do that you take care of, etc.? What are your responsibilities? And I want you to jot them down. And then when we're done today, I want you to finish that list. I want you to exhaust that list, because when you can write things down, you can actually, there's a relief that comes from that, a release of stress and emotions when you can actually see what your responsibilities are. And this is an ongoing, evolving list. So when you get a chance, start writing in the chat what your responsibilities are. Okay, now, somebody I just recently recruited that should be getting started, when I met him on the plane, he said he figured out I was an entrepreneur. He said, what is the biggest advice you have for somebody who is an entrepreneur? And I said, being your own business owner is the hardest part, because you are your own boss. So we're going to talk about that tonight. Goodness gracious, Christine, 3 jobs, 2 kids, household duties, bills, etc., and ACN. Absolutely. So being your own boss, I think, is one of our biggest challenges here in being an independent business owner in ACN, because no one is expecting you to show up like if you had a job. If you had a job, you had to be there at 8 a.m. and you were in there at 8:15, I think somebody would say something to you, right? If you owned your own business and your doors open at 8 and you show up at 8:15, your customers are going to be like, what? So being an independent business owner, being able to do this part-time around our schedule, that could be a challenge, is showing up at the time you should be at work when nobody's going to ride you about it. Okay. So, now my suggestion is that you create a calendar. Sorry, I didn't bring in my paper calendar. I only have my notes, but create a calendar, a monthly calendar, a weekly calendar, and a daily calendar. Okay. And then every night before you go to bed, say, hey, Mr. Thomas, I'm telling you, he's the model for how to do life. Every night before you go to bed, I want you to look at your responsibilities the next day. I want you to look at your calendar. When you do that, your brain will prepare overnight for what it is you have to do the next day. And then when you get up in the morning, I want you to take a look at it again, and you might realize there's some additional responsibilities that you have, and add it to your calendar. However, you need to revise your calendar. Okay. Now, once you have that, stick to it. Stick to it. Unless something else urgent comes up, stick to the schedule you created for the day, including wherever you stick ACN in. Okay, but stick to that calendar, because again, we're doing this part-time, and we need to be able to show up in order to do this. Okay, the other question I have is, there's 24 hours in a day, right? So if you sleep 8 hours, good for you. But if you sleep 8 hours, so we'll actually do 10, right, to get ready and all that. So there's 14 hours in a day, we'll say, right? And let's say you do work an 8-hour job. That's what, 6 left? No, 6. Yeah, 6 left, right? 6 hours left. Now, that's 6 hours you could be doing all of your other responsibilities, including ACN. Okay. So my question to you is, how late are you staying up? I hope you guys are reading all these things. How late are you staying up to fulfill your responsibilities? So yesterday, was Sunday, right? So I got up, I exercised, I went to church. I had some running around to do. And then I had my brother's birthday dinner, but I also had a presentation at 5. So when I was invited to my brother's birthday dinner, I told my sister-in-law, yes, we can come, but I have to step out and do a presentation in the middle of dinner. So that's what I did. Well, I had started, stupidly, a project in my kitchen cleaning my grates. And so when I got home, I had to finish what I started, right? And I was up late doing that. So how late are you staying up in order to accomplish the tasks that you set for yourself? Okay. Now, at the very end of the day, every day, I want you to review what you did. I want you to review the schedule you set out for yourself, and I want you to evaluate whether you accomplished what it was you set out to do. Okay. Now, if you didn't get it done, no worries. Add it till tomorrow, or add it to wherever in the week is best fits to fulfill those responsibilities. Now, What I also suggest, in addition to your calendars, you have a separate to-do list. Okay. In my to-do list, I have two. Well, actually, a lot, but I have two. I have needs to be done like today or tomorrow. And then I have a different to-do list that needs to be done, say, by the end of the month or in the next couple of weeks. Okay. And as you do your to-do list, make sure you're crossing off that task. There is something to be said about marking off something you accomplished. It gives you that sense of accomplishment and helps you move forward. So mark off those to-do lists. Now, if you don't get all your tasks done, what I don't want you to do is the should-haves. Case of the should-haves. Oh, I should have done this. I should have done that. Don't should have all over yourself. Okay. So no worries, you guys. Let it go. Don't beat yourself up. Beating yourself up is only going to add to your stress level, which is only going to make you less productive than you already were. No worries. Shake it off. Do better tomorrow. Okay. So that's what I want you to tell yourself every night. If you didn't get it done, and even if you did get it done, do better tomorrow. Now, hold yourself accountable. Hold yourself accountable. However that's going to look, hold yourself accountable, or find somebody trustworthy to help you be held accountable. And I have a suggestion for you. Want to hear it? Who wants to hear my suggestion? Susan does, Mr. Thomas, okay. A child. If it's your child, that's great, because I promise you, you tell your child what it is you need to get done, they're going to call you out, because you're modeling for your child how to do life, right? So you're telling them, do your chores, do your homework, go to school. You're telling them all of those responsibilities. You're holding them accountable. You ask your child to hold you accountable, they will hold you accountable. If you don't have a child, or you're like mine where they're in college, right? Find somebody else's child. Find somebody who will help you hold yourself accountable. Now, question for you. I want you to all look at your to-do list here. So jobs, wife, kids, church, start a nonprofit, wife, guardian of 2 young people, businesses, taking care, church, chores, remodeling. Here's my question for you all. Ready for it? Where do you fall in that list of responsibilities? Where, did you write yourself down? Did you write yourself down? Yeah, it is, right? So here's the thing. Some topics I want to go over very briefly. Mental health. Mental health. What are you doing for your mental health? And here's why I thought of this. Friday, I was at one of my medical appointments with my dad. We have 4 this week, okay? And one of the VA people asked me, Keri, what do you do to take care of yourself? And I was able to rattle off everything I do to take care of myself, to keep the oxygen mask on myself in order to take care of everybody. So mental health. Are you doing personal development? Are you doing personal development? How are you taking care of your mind? Physical health. Physical health. Are you exercising? Well, guess what? I have not been exercising. And when that question came to me previously, a week before, which was weird, I set myself a goal, a physical goal. By the time I turn 50 at the end of next month, I have a particular physical goal. Well, the only way to get that done is to start exercising. Well, for those of you who know me, I don't like to get up early, but I knew I had this morning, and I know I have an extremely busy day, and I knew I wasn't going to be able to work out. So I set my alarm super early. I did press news for 45 minutes, oops, but I got up early enough to go and exercise before getting on this call, so I could put myself and my physical health and my physical goal as a priority before my busy day. Okay. Emotional health. What are you doing for your emotional health? Are you spending time? Good for you, Christine. Well, with all those jobs, yeah, all the responsibility, Marvita. Emotional health. Are you spending quality time with people that you love and love you? I didn't say a lot of time. I said quality time. Quality time. When you spend quality time with people that you love and love you, that is a part of your emotional health. So spending time with my mom and my dad, my husband, my brother and his wife yesterday. And then a nice surprise was my dad's best friend, who's been his best friend since 1973, right when I was born, showed up to pick up my dad to go gambling, which was funny. But I got to see my Uncle Greg yesterday. So it wasn't a long period of time because in the 3 hours we were at my brother's, I had to step aside and go do work. Okay. But the quality helped fill my emotional health. Spiritual health, whether you believe in God or another higher power or the universe, energy, all of that. How are you filling yourself with your emotional health? Are you taking time to talk to God or your higher power? And guess what? That doesn't have to be an assigned time. You can talk to him right now if you wanted to, right? Talk throughout the day. I do. You know, people talk about gathering and all that. Yeah, God and I talk. I'm bending his ear probably more than he wants because I'm constantly, hey, are you listening? Hey, got something to ask, got something to say. Gratitude, 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 gratitude. How are you taking care of your spiritual health? And then your financial health. This one may hit some of you. Now, here's what I want to tell you. I think some of you on this call are in a financial situation where you don't need to look at your checkbook every morning. Wow, I just aged myself, your bank account. You have to log into your bank account every morning, okay? And look, but I remember the time where Brad and I, or not Brad and I, because he didn't do the finances, I do the finances. I had to wake up every morning, and it still turns my stomach, and wait till 8:05 to log into the bank accounts to make sure we were not in overdraft. Because if we went into overdraft, how am I going to come up with the money to pay for the bill that I didn't have enough money to pay for, plus the $36? So what kind of financial health are you creating for yourself? And, you know, if you're in a situation where you are not, that's why you're doing ACN, right? It's for money. That's why we do it for money and then the background reasons, okay? But if your financial health is not stable, then work with somebody to get there. And I'm not saying go make more money and all that. I'm just saying figure out how to manage your money. That way, every morning when you wake up, you are not stressed about your financial health. You know the plan. Like even if you're broke, you still know the plan and you don't have to stress about it every morning, okay? And then when you dig yourself out of that hole, and you will, because you're an ACN and you're going to do the work that it takes, like we talked about on the 15th, you're going to do the work that it takes to dig yourself out of that hole. And when you do, I hope when you talk about it, like my stomach just got really like I could throw up right now, in remembering what that felt like. Always be humbled enough to remember what that feels like so you never go there again, and have empathy to help other people. Do not judge them. Be empathetic and understand where they are and help them get out of it. So take control of your schedule. No should-ups. Don't should have all over yourself, okay? Or beat yourself up. Do better tomorrow. Hold yourself accountable, or somebody who will make an impact on you when you don't accomplish what it is you're looking to accomplish. Put the oxygen mask on yourself first, or you cannot help other people. You can't, just like what they say on the plane. Okay, now I want to tell you really quickly. Every morning, part of my spiritual health is I pull angel cards. My dog ate it. Anyway, these are my angel cards. And I'm going to share with you some of the angel cards that came to me today. One was clear cognizance, and it said, pay attention to the ideas, thoughts that come to you, as these are answered prayers. Prioritize. Focus on your highest priorities, and I will help you get organized and motivated. Prosperity. Open your arms to receive the abundance of success and prosperity that God has designed for you. Angel therapy. These are the ones I pulled this morning, you guys, to talk to you. Angel therapy. Give us all your cares and worries and allow us to take your burdens. And courage. Be courageous and stand up for your beliefs. You know what? ACN is your future. ACN is how you are going to take care of your family. And those who see it differently, fine. Don't burn bridges. We are not here to burn bridges. Simply, like Mr. Kupit says, don't talk to them about ACN, but do not allow them to take ACN away from you. Absolutely not. Do not allow them to take ACN away from you. Okay. So now what God wanted me to tell you was this. I had a dream this morning that I was in this leadership meeting, and it was in person, and everybody was in a big circle, and I was walking around, and we were talking about different things and recruiting and being stuck in recruiting and who you're going to recruit. And I'm out of people. And it was just this amazing little weird dream I had. And then I said, okay, somebody volunteer and give me your phone. And nobody would volunteer. Mr. Thomas, nobody would volunteer. So I grabbed my own phone and I said, I know there's people in your phone that you have not made contact with. I know there's people in your social media that you have not made contact with. This is my dream, okay? So I grabbed my phone, I opened it up, I'm like, and I went, Farah, I don't have her phone number, but she's on my social media and she's a childhood friend that I have never reached out for ACN about. So I hope every single one of us are on this Facebook challenge tonight at 5 o'clock, 8 o'clock, whatever time you live in. But sign up for the Facebook challenge if you haven't already, because I guarantee you, just like me, and God gave me that dream. He's like, call Farah. I'm like, okay, I'll call Farah. Okay. I mean, I don't know her number, but I'm going to reach out to her. Every single one of us have people that we still can reach out to in order to help them accomplish their life goals through ACN, which will in turn help us accomplish ours. So life is all about family, friends, and helping others. And what if you have a Farah from your childhood on social media, not in your contacts, that needs to hear about ACN, or know somebody that needs to hear about ACN, and you could be that blessing. So that was my message in the beginning. That ending was God's message. And so I'm going to go ahead and say thank you very much for giving me another opportunity to be a part of this amazing call. And I'm going to turn it back to our amazing, oh my gosh, talented, loving, supportive, amazing Mr. Al Thomas.